Fired for being depressed. That is what one new mom alleged in a lawsuit against her former employer, and she actually won that case. Maria Alves, she says she had postpartum depression after her son was born in 2016. She got an extension on maternity leave, but when she asked for more time to cope and heal, her employer, Boston University, refused and terminated her instead. Joining me now, her attorney, Matthew Fogelman. First, Matthew, thanks for being with me. Did they tell her why they were terminating her and saying it was because of the postpartum?
No, at the time, Lynn, they told her that they could not hold the position open any longer, that they needed to fill the position.
And so what is the actual rule when it comes to how much time you can have off there?
So there's not a maximum amount of time per se. Under the law, a company has to provide what's called a reasonable accommodation when somebody has a medical condition. And a reasonable accommodation can be more time off. An extension of leave can be considered a reasonable accommodation. Normally, the employer has to provide that unless they can establish that providing it would be an undue hardship or an undue burden. In other words, it would be too burdensome on the company to provide that. That's what they argued in this case, but the jury found otherwise.
And what was the settlement? How did you get to this number, $144,000 with interest?
So it was not actually a settlement; it was a trial. So a jury in Boston awarded that amount. And typically with trials, it is up to the jury what amount to offer, what amount to award, and so that is the amount that they awarded.
Do you think that's appropriate?
By the outcome.
Yeah, do you think that's appropriate as far as like what she gets versus what she could have had in a career? Should it have been more for her?
Well, that's a fair question. I mean, with trials and as trial lawyers, you're going to sometimes get more than you want. Sometimes you're going to get less than you want or that you anticipated. That's what they awarded, and they heard the case, and that's what they felt was the right amount. Obviously, we would have been happy to have more and to have punitive damages assessed. But overall, it was a really good win. And sometimes it's not only about the number; it's about the results. And winning a case like this is quite notable, in my view. We're very happy with it.
We reached out to BU for a statement, and we have not gotten a response, but they did respond to other outlets saying that they respect the jury's decision and that they wish her all the best going forward. But when you look back on their decision to let her go, they had just promoted her before maternity leave, right?
That's correct. She had worked in an administrative capacity for about 9 years, was a good, loyal employee, and had recently gotten promoted to more of a supervisory position. That's right.
And to those that may make the argument on the other side, well, how long can someone leave a position open? What is that appropriate time frame? Can you see that point of view, that there's only a certain amount of time that a business can function without having someone filling that role?
Well, that's right, and that's the argument that they made, and ultimately the jury did not see it their way, but that is the argument that they made. As I said, there's no maximum amount of time, but there's, under the law, again, a reasonable accommodation can be extended leave. I think here the issue was that there were other things that could have been done. For example, they could have talked to her doctor. They could have tried to find out more about how much more time she needed. They could have hired a temp. They could have borrowed someone from another department. Sometimes companies let people work from home or work part-time. So there's so many things that can be done under a reasonable accommodation standard. And those things were not explored here. That process, that interactive process to figure out, well, what can we do to accommodate this person? That just wasn't really done here.
Is she doing okay now? Is everything all right with her?
She is. She's doing much better. She's reemployed. Her son is doing well. And I think it was really gratifying for her to bring this case and to see it all the way through. Yeah. And I know, she, and I would speak on her behalf and myself as well, for people who are experiencing postpartum depression, after maternity, first of all, get help if you need it. Don't be, I think some people are either don't know that they have it or they're afraid to seek help, but seek help for sure. And with an employer, talk to them. You're entitled to, again, a reasonable accommodation, and the employer has to work with you to try to achieve that.
Matt Fogelman, thank you for being with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.